One of the traditions of Christmas is gifts. Now, as children, that is what Christmas is really about. And I know during children's time or during Sunday school, kids know enough to say that Christmas is really about Jesus. It's really about God coming to earth. But let's face it, what is the question we ask children before Christmas? We ask, what did you ask for from Santa? And then after Christmas, the question we ask is, and what did Santa bring you for Christmas? Never once was I asked as a child from anyone other than my parents, and what did you learn at church about Christmas? And never once have I asked a child who is not a member of this congregation, and what did your church teach you about Christmas? No, the usual question between acquaintances during the month of December is not, is your soul ready for Christmas? But rather we ask, so do you have all your shopping done? Is everything ready? Are you ready for company? We talk about gifts. And after Christmas, my mother, who knew the Bible better than any preacher I know, including and especially me, would come out and ask the other person, so did you come out ahead? We all seem to focus on gifts at Christmas. Giving and receiving gifts is a delightful Christian tradition, and it is rooted in the Bible. After all, the three wise men came to visit the baby Jesus, and they each brought a gift to him. And when we talk about Jesus, we talk about God giving us the gift of Jesus. The idea of exchanging gifts really caught on during the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, when people finally had enough discretionary income, enough time, and the factories had put out enough products on the shelves that people could actually buy gifts for one another. It's no coincidence that in the 19th century, in the Victorian era, when there were gifts, when there was stuff on the shelves, when there was discretionary income, when there was time, that childhood became a distinct and valued stage of life. So let's put it together. Christmas, gifts, and children created a wonderful synergy that grew into our beliefs about Christmas and gifts today. Now, getting gifts seems really easy when we're young, doesn't it? People ask us what we want. And if we're lucky, somebody actually buys what we said we wanted. Christmas arrives and we dig into those packages with reckless abandon, ripping and throwing and say, oh, wow, this is what I asked for. Now, at some point, however, we reach the age when being asked what we want for Christmas becomes harder and harder to answer. Yeah? Yeah. Often, we'd reach the point where we would much rather give somebody a gift than have somebody give a gift to us, especially if we know the gift was something the person really wanted. We really want to give it to them. But for many of us, receiving a gift eventually becomes much harder than giving a gift. I think it's because receiving a gift becomes embarrassing. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to say. We would just as soon prefer our friends and family had saved their money because, frankly, most of us can go out and buy what we want and need for ourselves. Well, friends, one of the greatest lessons we can learn in life is how to receive a gift graciously and gratefully. People who give gifts love the joy of being able to give a gift to us. Receiving a gift means we allow another person to say through that gift that they appreciate us. Receiving a gift graciously means we let the other person experience the joy of giving. Receiving a gift graciously means accepting another's kindness, even when we're not really sure we deserve that kindness. The hardest gift to receive is the gift we really need, but could not provide for ourselves. The hardest gift we receive is the gift we really need, but we could not provide it for ourselves. Sometimes we need the gift because we simply cannot afford what we really need. Sometimes it's hard because we don't think we deserve that wonderful gift. But receiving a gift we really need, a gift we cannot possibly provide for ourselves, requires humility. The ability to admit that we need help. That this is something we cannot do by ourselves. This is something we cannot provide for ourselves. Well, God gave us something that we simply could not provide for ourselves. God gave us the gift of Jesus. God came to live with us in flesh and blood to give us the gift of forgiveness, new life, and second chances. God sent Jesus into this world so that we could finally experience peace within ourselves, so that maybe one day we'd stand a chance of having peace between us. God gave us the gift of Jesus so that we know we can depend on God. But accepting the gift of Jesus requires humility. Accepting Jesus as a gift from God means that we must admit our need for God. Accepting Jesus as a gift from God means admitting that we cannot fix ourselves and we cannot fix our world without help from God. There's a movement in our world, humanism, that has an increasing number of people who believe that human beings can fix our world all by ourselves. They believe that people can be good, kind, compassionate, and generous, independent of faith or belief in God. Those are people who say that humans can choose, always make the right choices without having God or faith involved. These are people who embrace Christian values without embracing Christian faith. There are some who say faith in God is evil because it doesn't require us to live up to our full potential as human beings. I suspect that there are people who are not willing to exercise the humility required to admit how much we need the gift from God known as Jesus. Perhaps there are people who do not want to admit that we need forgiveness, we need second chances, we need new life, and we need the kind of peace that comes with admitting our need for Jesus in our lives. There are people who do not want to admit that Jesus' teachings, his death, and his resurrection are gifts from God, gifts that we all need if we ever want our lives and our world to be filled with the peace of God that passes human understanding. And if we doubt any of that, let's look at the state of our world today. Our world reminds us how much we need God's gift of Jesus to show us a better way to live. Our world today reminds us that belief in human capacity alone is just not getting the job done. The state of our world today proves how much we need the presence of God to fill our hearts with those things that we cannot provide for ourselves. Forgiveness, love, acceptance, peace within us enough to bring peace between us. The truth of Christmas is the humility we need to admit how much we need God's gift of Jesus. God was humble enough to enter this world as a helpless infant. God was humble enough to enter this world born in a cave that he shared with animals. God was humble enough to be born into the lowest of peasant classes. He was humble enough to be born to serve rather to serve than to be served. And friends, I hope, I pray, that we can find humility enough to accept that gift from God that we cannot provide for ourselves. The gift of forgiveness, new life, and peace that comes from following Jesus. Because Jesus is the gift from God that we all need the most. I I hope we can find the humility to accept that wonderful gift from God. I hope we all get gifts we really want this Christmas. And to make sure that I did, I went along with the gift buyer to help choose exactly what I wanted. I hope we all experience the joy of giving gifts to others, but what I really, really hope is that we can all find the humility to receive the gift of Jesus Christ, because that is the only gift we really need, and only God can provide it. Amen.
Amen.